Hey, how you doing? I'll show you really quick how to do some of the deeds. You've been doing some of the deeds for me, and it's been pretty good. But I apologize I haven't given you any real instruction and how this works. So, and also I know there's confusion now, and I'm getting a little bit of help from Jason. So, there's two ways that we sell these properties. One of them is called a terms deal, which that's all the contract paperwork that you've been setting up with for me with the mail merge document that we've been using. So that's where they give us a down payment, and then they make payments every month until it's paid off. So that's terms paperwork, and kind of like right in here, like Jason, I think sent you a lot of this stuff here. You don't have really a whole lot of problems with generating the terms sales that we do. The second one, man, I kind of threw it on you, is the cash sale. So anytime somebody just gives us cash for a property, so no payments, all we have to do is deed the property to them. And so, for example, obviously you make these for me all the time, these deeds here. So this would be, here, let me maximize this. Sorry. So this here is obviously a deed that you've written for me. So there's a little confusion with grantor and grantee. So the grantor is the person selling. The grantee is the person buying. So a lot of times it's just a matter of flipping the names around. So obviously we're the purchaser on this deed here. We've actually sold this lot for cash. So we need to create a deed so we can deed it to the buyer. So if we're the seller now, that means us, real estate, and our address, this info here needs to go up here where the grantor is. So we are now the grantor. So when I send you a message that says, "Hey, Divakar, we've sold this lot. Can you please make a deed? Here's the gentleman or the woman's name and address," because that's really the only two things that we need is a name and an address for the deed. All the other stuff stays the same because it's the exact same property. And if the county recorded it with no issues, we should have no problems. So, in this case here, it's just a matter of, no kidding, cutting and pasting, right? So I'll just, cut and then paste like that. All right. And then obviously this is going to go cut. So our address is here. Paste. Boom, like that. Okay, so now we've got the grantor information correct. And now we just have to put the grantee info. So in this case, it's actually right here. The buyer is, this lady actually bought two properties off of us, one terms, and one of them via deed. Let's see here, calling his mailing address. Here we go. And oops, match destination formatting. Okay, there we go. All right, obviously I got to play around with it, but you get the point. I won't put her address in here because this is going to be a public video. But obviously that we will put her address in here. So there was a little confusion. The last one you did from here, who the grantor and who the grantee is. So we're not always the grantee. All right, sometimes we're the grantor. So I know this is a little sloppy up here right now, but we'll move on. So just kind of ignore all of this because obviously we make this pretty. And then I always double check that this here matches the old deed, which it should, because I usually always try to send you the draft that you did for me. But I always look over it, make sure it's good to go. You can even back this up in Podio, like if you have the wherewithal to look this property up if you want to check anything. I always use the due diligence app. Donna, who does the due diligence, uploads that Excel spreadsheet that you can reference a lot of these details. A couple other little things I noticed, just some cleanup stuff I noticed you kind of miss sometimes is right here. This here needs to be the county that reflects right here, the property. So in this case, it's St. John's. So I know a lot of times I send just a generic Walton deed to you and you leave it Walton, but I've been catching it. But if you can, just make sure that this says the county of St. John's, which is this county here that this property is in. Sometimes you fill this in for me here, which this is always the year prior. So we could put in here right now, 2017. So this is just saying that the taxes have been paid, and the most current tax year is 2017. So we haven't paid taxes yet for 2018. Here in America, generally in November or mid-year. So the taxes are paid and up until December 31st of 17. So that's what we put in there. And then another thing right here, you typically put this in for me. I always have to erase this and leave it blank. Because I don't know what day they're actually going to take this document. They have to take this document in front of a notary, get it signed and stamped and sealed and all this legal stuff. If it's towards the end of the month, I'll even leave this blank as well, because who knows when they're going to do it. So, but definitely leave the day blank, and then that's pretty much it. Save it, send it back, and then I can clean up the little things. Like here, I always like to put some lines here for them to put the state of, and you don't. There's no issues with this here. You've been leaving this blank, which is good. So I always kind of make that prettied up, and that's about it for that. But the main thing I wanted to just kind of explain to you is grantor and grantee and how that works. So the deeds are actually pretty quick, pretty easy to make, but they are very important to get correct, because if we don't, the county will send them back, and then it costs us recording fees, which we've already paid. It'll cost us recording fees to get them paid again, and it just could cause issues in keeping the chain of title clean. So I'll have a couple for you to do here, because luckily we've been making some sales. So if you have any questions, please just let me shoot me a message here like you have been on the messenger, and we can get it figured out. So you've been doing a really great job helping me out tremendously, man. So I appreciate all the help. Thank you.